tell me where you were and what your reaction was when you found out that you were nominated.
I was outside of a hotel in London, and I hadn't checked in yet. I had luggage with me, and I was scrolling through my phone because I thought it would be announced live, but it wasn't. And then my publicist called me, and I just broke down in tears, and I was just wailing like, oh my God. And these very uptight British men were like, are you okay, ma'am? And I'm like, I just got nominated for an Emmy. Yeah, it was just overwhelming completely. And I just had to sit down and gather myself.
And obviously this is not your first nomination, but I would imagine that just never gets old. Was there a White Lotus cast text chain the morning of the Emmy nominations?
Well, we have the text chain that we had since Thailand, and so it definitely exploded with love for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, tell me more about that text chain that existed from Thailand. What goes on in there?
You know, I can't tell you all that. It's a sacred space, but it's just lovely to share with people who know the experience. You know, it's like we went to war together, you know, like we battled the elements to bring this show to life. And so no one really understands that unless you were there. So it's just nice to have those fellow comrades and celebrate each other's wins.
Okay, so speaking of those fellow comrades, The White Lotus is one of the most nominated shows this year. Yeah. And just in your category is yourself,
Yep.
Amy Lou Wood, Parker Posey, and Carrie Coon.
Yes.
Is it friendly competition?
Oh, I mean, it couldn't be more friendly. I mean, I'm root for them always, even before I knew them through the show. I'm just a fan of their work. And so it's just a joy to be able to go to Hollywood prom with them and celebrate.
I love that, Hollywood prom.
Yeah.
You know I'm gonna ask, are you coming back for season 4?
Oh, I have no idea, and thank God I don't. I had to keep so many secrets for season 3, and so, yeah, I don't know yet, but Mike knows. I mean, it's one of the joys of my career to work with him, and I do to get in a heartbeat. So when he calls, I'll pick up.
No conversations yet, though?
None.
Okay.
None.
Were you surprised at how many people were killed off and who was killed off?
I remember reading the scripts for the first time and gasping so loud my dogs were scared because I had no idea how it would play out. But then to also see it in real time, I was just as surprised because we don't shoot together. You know, like my storyline is kind of siloed, and so I'll see them in the group dinner scenes or, you know, the breakfast scenes, but I didn't get to actually see those words come to life in those storylines. And so to watch the bloodshed, I was blown away.
And at what point did you learn who would be killed off? Do you get scripts all at the beginning? Is it episode to episode?
It's, I think, different per person. I mean, my relationship with Mike and production is different just because I'm the OG. And so I got to get all the scripts at once and take a look at them. And so I knew what was going on. But as more people would come to set and things got heightened, they would print out dummy scripts with different endings just to make sure that no one would leak. Because you can imagine, having seen it, if that gets spoiled for you, it kind of, you know, it kind of bursts your bubble. And so we wanted to protect that experience for the audience.
Okay, so you said at one point you thought that you were dying.
Yes.
What would be your reaction if you were to be killed off?
I mean, I'm an actor. I want to try everything, you know, and I've never died on screen. I would, you know, eat it up. Yeah, I remember talking to Amy Lou. I was just like, it was just such a beautiful death, you know, with her and Walton. And so I wouldn't be mad. I mean, I'd be sad because like the opportunity to come back would be taken. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool to just like go through that process and join the many. There are a lot of people on that wall.
Yes, a death wall.
That's
of
right,
the White
that's right.
Lotus. Yeah, they can have the season 4 hotel can have that
yes.
in the background somewhere. Do you think that there's a world in which Jennifer Coolidge could come back? That could be a flashback. There could be an evil twin, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe she goes, you know, the hotels are haunted. Maybe there's, everyone comes back. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about your season 3 storyline because we really learned a lot more about Belinda, and we saw you as a mother and with a love interest, with some of your morals maybe comprised a bit. When did you learn about your entire storyline and how much deeper it would be than season 1?
I mean, when I read the scripts, I saw the journey that she was on, and Mike and I work so closely together, and we talk about the character and just her arc, and her internal life is so wild and vivid, but to have that externalized in season 3, we get to see more of her. And, you know, she's there as, you know, a work exchange program, but she's also there as a guest. And so we get to see that version of her. And I was just so excited to see those versions come to life. And like you said, you know, she breaks bad and you know, someone who's sort of the moral center of the show, we see that she has that tested in season 3. And I do love it because I think that, you know, she contains multitudes. And I think that, you know, the myth of, you know, the black girl magical Negro can't have anything wrong. I was just like, no, she's not all good. And she's flirting with this danger, which I love.
So that brings me to the end, which is she gets this $5 million, and there's a scene where your on-screen son says, you know, Mom, you always wanted to open a business, and oh my gosh, you can do that now. And Belinda's response is essentially, can I just be rich?
Yeah,
for 5 seconds. 5 seconds, please. So what do you think is next for Belinda? Is she just going to go off and be rich and be like the Jennifer Coolidges of the world and the White Lotus guests?
I don't think she has that in her. I think that she loves people. She loves helping people. But I do think that, you know, and I related to this, you know, there was a time in my life when I thought, will there ever be a time where I'm not thinking about where, you know, my next check is coming from or, you know, to pay my rent? And when you're no longer in that space, you know, the mental real estate that those concerns take up can be replaced by dreams and ambition. And so while I don't think she's going to go the Coolidge route, the Tanya route, I think that she'll figure out a way to give back and be philanthropic. But now she has more resources. So maybe it's not starting her own spa, maybe it's doing something else, but I'm sure it's in the wellness space. I feel like that's her calling.
So you don't see it as her basically taking the money and running and turning on everything that we have known about Belinda?
No, I think it might be a hybrid, but she might get a giant brimmed hat, have a few Aperol spritzes, and maybe buy nice jewelry. I think she contains multitudes.
Okay, now I know this would seem like an implausible situation, but if you woke up one morning and saw that $5 million was deposited in your bank account, what would you do with it?
Oh my God. Oh wow. I would probably, and I'm not saying this just to seem Pollyanna, like I would like make sure my niece and nephew's colleges are like taken care of, take care of my siblings, my parents, and I learned you went to the honeymoon, on your honeymoon to the Maldives, so I will probably explore that. And then while I'm in the Maldives, I'll figure it out.
Okay. I like that. What did you do, I'm talking about real life now, is Natasha, when you got your first big paycheck? After, you know, this is not an easy industry as a theater actor, writer, producer. What did you spend that first paycheck on? Or maybe you didn't spend it. What did you do with the money?
I paid off my college loans. It's not that glamorous. I was just like, oh my God, I get to pay off my college loans. And I had credit card debt because I was a struggling artist in New York. And I remember I had, I've not talked about this in an interview, or maybe I have. I wrote a check to myself for like $40,000 because that would pay off my student loans, or portion of it. And I just carried it around with me in my wallet while I was broke, picking up Metro cards in New York and hoping one of them could get me home. And it was just that I was like, one day I'm going to be able to cash this check and pay off. And I just remember when I was on the phone with Sally Mae and closing out my account, and I had that check in my hand. It was just like emotional because money is emotional. And I think, especially if you've been preoccupied with how you're going to get it and how you're going to live. And I graduated with a theater degree during a recession. So it was scary times, and it just took a lot of faith, to make sure that could happen. But yeah, I didn't do anything overtly fun. I just made sure that I was stable.
But I mean, look, that is living proof for anyone watching this. Like,
Yeah.
stick to your dreams, work hard in your goals.
That's right. And just, I think it's a pretty a delulu to write a check like that to yourself and put in your, but I think it helps a little bit. A little delulu never hurt nobody.
Yeah, I don't think it's Delulu. I like it. So in season 3, Belinda got a love interest.
Mm-hmm.
How much fun was that for you?
So much fun. I mean, have you seen Dom? Dom, who plays Porn Shy, he's very symmetrical, very beautiful.
Very symmetrical.
And just so kind. I met his family so wonderful, and he's just got a beautiful spirit. And this would be breaking news. He will be my date to the Emmys.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm so excited to have him, and he's just so thrilled. So yeah, he'll be coming in town for that, and so maybe audiences can leave me alone. I did bring him with me.
Yes, you did not abandon him.
I did not abandon him.
You did not take the money and run.
That's right.
I can't wait to see you both on the red carpet then.
Yeah, same.
Okay. How was it for you, that experience of having these love scenes? What was that like on set?
I had love scenes in my show, How to Die Alone, and in Insecure. So there was a lack of timidity, I think, because I had done it, but it's always new and interesting and weird. And yeah, it's a weird thing to, manufacture a very intimate moment with like 15 crew guys like watching, and it's going to be seen by other people. So it's all about the safety created on set, and we had an amazing intimacy coordinator. And
I was going to ask you if you worked with one.
Yeah. And so, and also it's just the conversations with Dom, and he's so thoughtful and caring, and it was amazing to have Belinda have that moment. I think it's wonderful when you can see a plus size Black woman getting her groove on, and really celebrating the fact that she's sexual and she's not just a mom, she's a woman. Yeah.
You know nothing about season 4.
Nothing.
But as a fan of the show and not
Yeah.
just a cast member, what would you like to see for season 4? Do you have a location in mind?
There's so many, because the show has really showed me the world. I would love somewhere on the continent of Africa. I feel like South Africa, I feel like Morocco, Egypt. The show could really go anywhere. I just know it won't be a place that's cold. Mike hates the cold, so I can't imagine we'll see an Aspen ski season or a Vail ski season.
There's a lot of fans. They have said, when are we getting the luxury ski resort?
I know, but again, I will never ever pretend to know what Mike has in his mind. So he might surprise us all.